Lexington began its last sea voyage. Only this time, the Lex wasn't steaming across open waters. It was being towed to its new home port, Corpus Christi. It would take 5 days for the Blue Ghost to reach Naval Station Ingleside, and there she would sit for the next 5 months.
My high point really was when it got to Ingleside, and I remember Phil Plant, who was on the committee, called me, said, "It's in Ingleside, let's go take a look at it." And I went, well, you know, I hadn't really ever seen the Lexington.
We started at 8 in the morning, give or take 8 or 8:30, and I was a guest on board at that time. I didn't have anything to do with it other than the pilot said, you want to come aboard? And I said, oh yeah, I'd love to be there when you move it. So I was asked to come aboard, and I did. And they took it away from the pier, and then the stern was here, and they took the stern out and made it the lead. So then it went in this direction, stern first, from Ingleside. The rudder was stuck hard over, and nobody knew that because they had pulled it from Pensacola. They had pulled the ship from Pensacola, and when they left Pensacola, we think at that time they went aground. And when it went aground, the rudder system hit against the underwater, hit against the bank. And when it did, it flipped that rudder hard over. Coming down the bay, it was fishtailing, you know, all the way. And the pilots kept saying, you know, that's strange. That really is strange. But we went on with our business and pulled it on over. And that started, I said again, about 8 or 8:30 in the morning. And I left the ship. I was the last person to leave the ship after it was flooded down, and I suggest that was 8 o'clock that evening.
The view here from the Texas State Aquarium is great. This morning the Lexington started out as just a speck on the horizon, and it's gotten bigger and bigger over the last couple of hours as it gets nearer and nearer. As you said, they left about 9:30 this morning, or maybe a little after, a slightly delayed start, about an hour or so. But they seem to be making up time as they head across the bay. So far the trip has taken a little over 2 hours, and the ship has now reached the point where they will begin, well, just about reach the point where they'll begin turning it into the slip here at the jetty at Corpus Christi Beach. They've had 5 tugboats nudge it across the bay, and more tugboats have joined it on this side for the tricky maneuver into the slip. Dana Stevens right now, the communications manager for the Convention and Visitors Bureau. That's a mouthful right there. And of course, you guys have been involved with this Lex for now like a year and a half, and you guys must be glad to finally have her coming home.
Yeah, we're really thrilled to get her here on Corpus Christi Beach, and as you can see, I think the community is too, by the turnout all along the shoreline and over here on the beach.
Right. Well, as I mentioned to you before, I took a look out here. We have Corpus Christi Beach out here in front of me, and they are just lined up all along the beach, and Shoreline Boulevard. It's just packed with folks right now trying to get a view of the Lady Lex.